The next day, Wubin was in his office painting as usual when Minsu came to see him. She handed him a small wrapped gift. Wubin looked at it and asked her what it was for. She thanked him for being there for her the other day and for taking her home. Wubin tried to return the gift, telling her that she didn't have to do that and that he was only doing his job as her employer. He said this while concentrating on his painting. Minsu stood there looking at him. She noticed a sudden shift in his behavior. Still watching him, she asked if he was okay and told him that he had changed so much. Without looking at her, Wubin replied that he had a lot going on at the moment and needed some space. He also added that he was hosting an exhibition the following evening and that she should be there. Realizing that he needed space, Minsu placed the gift on his desk and walked out. That night, Wubin was the last one to leave the office. As he was about to go, he glanced at the gift on his desk. He picked it up, looked at it for a moment, then put it in his pocket and walked out. The following day, Kim visited Sunjin at his office. She found his desk empty, but there were some confidential files on it. Curiously, she opened the files and saw that they contained a list of organizations that Tech Bloom was in talks with. She quickly took pictures with her phone. As she sat there, Sunjin walked in. He was unhappy to see her and asked why she was there. Kim stood up from the chair, walked up to him, and told him that she had come to see him since they were engaged. Sunjin was surprised at how Kim's obsession was growing. He firmly told her that he had made it clear he didn't want her and that he was already engaged to someone else. He ordered her to leave him alone. Unbothered, Kim told him that sooner or later he would realize how badly he needed to be with her. She smiled and walked out. Sunjin, feeling annoyed, stood there thinking to himself that he really needed to end this madness as soon as possible. Later that day, Kim went to see her father. She sat in his office, watching him as he concentrated on his work and ignored her as usual. Without looking at her, he asked what she wanted. With her voice shaking from fear, she asked him for a favor. She explained that she was close to tying the knot with Sunjin, but there was one issue she needed his help with. Raising his head to look at her, he told her to be straightforward. Kim explained that Sunjin was working hard to save Tech Bloom, and if he succeeded, he wouldn't need her anymore. He would be with someone else. Her father listened as she spoke, then told her that since Tech Bloom seemed to be going down the drain, there was no need for a marriage. Their union wouldn't benefit them anymore. It would simply cost them. He said he would find her a better match since Sunjin's family was no longer worth it. Kim was not pleased to hear this. She had worked hard, and she was so close. She begged her father to reconsider, telling him that she loved Sunjin, and that if they let go of his family now, they might still succeed in saving their company and would need them again. Her father remained firm. He told her to stop living in a fairy tale world and wake up. He added that there were much better matches for her. Not wanting to hear what her father was saying, Kim stood up from her chair and fell to her knees. She continued to beg him, but he ignored her. She stayed on her knees for hours. When her father was finally done with his work and ready to leave, he stood up and looked at her. He told her she was pathetic. Then, after a long pause, he told her he would help, not because he wanted to, but because if Tech Bloom survived, they might also benefit. As he walked out, Kim stood up with a bright smile on her face, realizing that her plan might actually work. That evening, Wubin hosted an art exhibition in his studio. Many elite guests attended. Minsu walked up to him and informed him that someone had purchased his most expensive painting. With a huge smile on his face, he asked if the buyer was present at the exhibition, as he wanted to meet them. Minsu told him she had received a call from the buyer, who said they would come to collect the painting later. He told her to clean the painting and ensure it was ready, as it had been in the studio for a long time. Without hesitation, Minsu smiled and walked away. She was genuinely happy for Wubin and knew just how hard he had worked on every painting. As Wubin stood there, admiring the success of his exhibition, a woman walked up to him. He didn't seem pleased to see her. She clapped lightly and remarked sarcastically that she was surprised to see his crappy paintings selling. Wu Bin asked her what she was doing in his studio, reminding her that she had vowed never to set foot there or see him again.